This was a 24-day cruise consisting of two 12-day segments. The first was the Black Sea area, and the second was the Eastern Mediterranean. We started in and ended in Athens, and we arrived in Athens a day early because of transportation issues. We stayed at the Intercontinental, but we didn't take a lot of pictures because we arrived there in the afternoon and we were just too tired to do much of anything. This is a view of the Parthenon and Acropolis as taken from our hotel balcony. Athens is a population of about 4 million people in the urban area, and the country of Greece is about 11 million. But the bulk of the population is, of course, centered right in the Athens area. The economy of Greece right now is pretty lousy. Their budget right now is about 159% of the gross domestic product, which means that things are bad. Their unemployment rate's around 28%, but their unemployment rate with youth is under 30 is about 50%. We saw a lot of stores in our downtown area that were closed, and a lot of half-finished apartments or buildings in the area, so things just did not really look too healthy. This is another view of the downtown area, as taken from the rooftop area at the hotel that we were staying in. Intercontinental is really a nice hotel. We enjoyed our stay there very much. This is a piece of art that's located in the lobby area of the Intercontinental Hotel. I had to take a photograph of this because it reminded me so much of our daughter Amy. But Amy was happy. She loved the cartwheels down through the halls of the hotel or the places that we were staying. This is a panoramic view of the harbor area that we departed from in Athens. This is a view of another Princess cruise ship departing Athens. It left just before we did in that evening. Volos, Greece is a city of about 125,000. It's surrounded by mountains, and in the mountainous area there are several monasteries, which was kind of their claim to fame. They also have a large agricultural region there. Since we have been to monasteries before, we decided not to take a tour of those areas. Rather, we decided to just walk around the city. This is the area where the fishing boats dock. This is the area where a cruise ship docked. It was in a commercial area, and you can see all the cargo containers sitting by the side there. This is pretty common because of the size of the ship. This is the view from the other side of the ship, showing the city and some of the mountains in the area. Here's just a few snapshots of some of the buildings in the downtown area. Ukraine is a East European country with a population of about 45 million people. It's about the size of Texas, which is a very large country for Europe. It's a very popular resort both in the summer and winter, and it's along the Crimean coast. The population of Yalta is about 80,000. This is the port where we arrived in Yalta. In the foreground there's an amusement park. In the background there are mountains which surround the area. This is a statue of Lenin in a local park, which goes to show the roots back to the old Russian regime. This is a view of a hillside, and from its appearance you can see that it's rather arid. We decided to take a tour in Yalta, and one of the places that we visited was the top secret Soviet submarine base, which was dismantled in 1991. The base was built inside of a mountain. Here we have a picture of the entrance to the base. You can see the curved doors at the entrance. These were built in this manner to protect against nuclear blast. Here are examples of a torpedo and some mines from that period. Here are examples of atomic bombs. In the background is a map depicting the arrival and the departure routes for the submarines, which is basically a one-way street, and the infrastructure that was located inside the mountain. This is the tunnels that the submarines followed when they arrived in the area. This is a nuclear warhead for a torpedo. This is a control panel from the inside of a submarine. This section shows the inner and outer skins of the side of a submarine, which I thought was kind of interesting. A Soviet carrier-based fighter plane. This is a monument commemorating the defense of Sevastopol, recognizing the courage and bravery of the city's defenders against the British and French forces after a 349-day siege. In the foreground is some of the battlefields where the actual siege took place. This church is perched atop of a mountain. This is not snow on these mountains. I believe they're made out of granite. This is called a swallow's nest, and it was built to give the appearance of a castle in 1911. It's only 65 feet long and 33 feet high, and currently it's a restaurant. This is Labadia Palace, where Stalin, Churchill, and Roosevelt started carving up Europe at the end of World War II in 1945. This is the entrance to the palace. I thought it was worthwhile to point out the beautiful marble detail work of this structure. This is the room where intimate discussions were held. This is where formal dining events were held. This was Churchill's study. This is where formal meetings were held. These are a part of the gardens that are surrounding the palace. These are some of the beautiful mosaics that were present. This is a view of the amusement park where our ship was docked. Odessa, Ukraine is a city of about 1 million people, so it's a fairly large location. And there was a pleasant stop on the tour, and it is along the Black Sea coast, and it is a large port. In the background is the Potemkin steps. Originally it was 200 steps, but then they raised the level of the roadway, and it's now 192 steps. It was considered to be the formal entrance to the city, and many years ago there were riots, and a number of people were shot and killed on these steps. Once you ascend the steps, you walk down the boulevard to see the 19th century street and the Opera and Ballet Theater, completed in 1887. This is a view of the port from the top of the steps. After a period of time sightseeing, we decided to stop and have a cup of coffee. This is just a view of part of the downtown area. This is a piece of sculpture in the port area. I'm not exactly sure what it was supposed to be, but it reminded me of a child in the womb. Getting around was a challenge because we couldn't read the street signs. I thought this was kind of an interesting advertisement. It's a photograph of a nude woman holding a flatfish over her chest. Our next port was Constanța, Romania. It was suggested that we visit Bucharest because there wasn't a lot to offer in the port city, which we did. Bucharest is about a 2-hour drive from the port, so it gave us some time to see the countryside, but it was a rather long day. Bucharest was full of large monolithic type of apartment buildings, which you might expect to see in a communist state. This view was taken from the government palace, and it's a view of more apartment buildings and also government buildings. I just thought this was kind of an interesting structure. This is a seat or a main cathedral for the Romanian Orthodox Church. This huge Parliament House is the governing place for a country of about 21 million people. It cost over $3 billion to build, and most of it was built with economic aid to the country, which was never really designed to go into a project such as this. It's a very ornate structure inside, a lot of paneled walls, marble halls, something that's well beyond a country of this size. By the way, the largest government building in the world is the Pentagon in Washington. These are the grounds in front of the Parliament. These are just some snapshots of around the city. This is some sort of a monument. I don't know what it's supposed to be. It looks kind of garish to me. These are photos from a village museum which offered over 100 reconstructed homes from early Romania. This is just a photo of the countryside as we were driving back to the port from our visit to Bucharest. Nesebar, Bulgaria is located along the Black Sea, and it was founded around 700 BC by Greek colonists from Asia Minor. It has a population of about 13,000. The area that we visited is the ancient city as opposed to the modern part of the community, because that's where all the interest is, at least for us. These are some of the ruins from the ancient city which are currently being unearthed. The next few photos show the narrow streets and some of the old buildings from the community which date back to medieval times. This is the statue of St. Nicholas. This is a richly decorated medieval church and it's part of the ancient Nesebar UNESCO World Heritage Site. It features rows of well-preserved brick and carved stone and serves today as an art gallery. This is a view from a quaint little restaurant where we had lunch. That's a cruise ship in the distance. Cats are all over the place in this part of the world. I don't know whether they're good luck or not, but they are certainly prolific. This is a curio shop that we stopped by, and we visited with this gal for some time. She's an artist by trade, and so we had a lively exchange of our family's background and interest. Over 60% of the buildings were either damaged or destroyed by the Serbs during their war, and you can see by the various colors of tiles that signifies the ones that were replaced as a result of the damage.
A nikog nema, tko je tvoj i ova zemlja se ne zove dom. U tvome oku je dragi kamen ili to suzu čuvaš za mene, a ja sam samo slovičenje koje ti kaže raduj se. Ne znam kad i ne znam gdje, ići ćemo istom stranom ulice. Vjeruj mi dušo, srećemo se u svijetu tajni. Mi nismo sami.
Montenegro was another country that was involved with a war with the Serbs.
Koliko puta si ljubila stranca i bila kao ptica kraj čovjeka koji ne leti do tvojih visina i ne zna tajnu skrivenu u tebi. Ti si u tijelu punom želja, sa usnama žebim iznenađenja, a nikog nema, tko je tvoj i ova zemlja se ne zove dom. U tvome oku je dragi kamen ili to suzu čuvaš za mene, a ja sam samo slovičenje koje ti kaže raduj se. Ne znam kad i ne znam gdje, ići ćemo istom stranom ulice. Vjeruj mi dušo, srećemo se u svijetu tajni. Mi nismo sami. Ti si u tijelu punom želja, sa usnama želim iznenađenja, a nikog nema, tko je tvoj i ova zemlja se ne zove dom. U tvome oku je dragi kamen ili to suzu
I decided not to narrate this part of the trip because there were just too many things to talk about, so I added text comments instead. A beautiful little quaint Greek island which was our last stop before we reached our destination.